Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm going to be talking about Yoga Nidra today. So, my experiences with Yoga Nidra happened when I had a pretty consistent yoga practice. And as I was talking to the ladies here today, Catherine and Susie, um, they have some experiences with Yoga Nidra that go even beyond mine. So I'm going to share what I know about Yoga Nidra, and then I'm going to ask for their input and their experiences on this too, because that's why we're here. We're all, we want to give as much information out there as we can to all of you. So I am not a yoga teacher, but I do enjoy the practice of hatha yoga. That's the relaxing kind, relaxing and stretching. I do enjoy that. I have always had a busy mind. It's always on. And yoga helps me focus that. And the first time that I did a yoga nidra, I thought, there is no way that I am going to be able to do this for as long as I'm supposed to do this. There's no way. I will get bored. I know it. Nope, I did not. I did not get bored. The there's a focus that you are guided through the entire practice. And so the mind is busy focusing on those things which happen to be the parts of the body. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. Um, so Yoga Nidra also means yogic sleep, but this is a deep relaxation where the body rests, the mind quiets down, and the subconscious mind becomes accessible. And it's so effective at relaxing the nervous system pretty quickly, too. It shifts the body into that parasympathetic state. It lowers cortisol and muscle tension. It calms the mind, reduces overthinking. Um, I am a classic overthinker a lot of the time. So this I can use for myself when I'm falling off to sleep. Actually, it's really useful for me. And in a Yoga Nidra session, the brainwave patterns change, which is phenomenal. It improves our sleep, mood, emotional balance, especially if you practice regularly. And it can help you awaken up your intuition and communicate with your inner intelligence as well. And what a session looks like in a yoga practice is there's an opening and a settling down, and you're guided. There's a guiding voice that helps you do all that, positioning the body, going into specific breathing, relaxing breathing, letting the ground hold you. Um, the pacing of the voice is very slow and very relaxing. So gives you plenty of time to let your mind follow the pace. We're never in a hurry to do the Yoga Nidra. So you get settled in, you're doing some breathing and body awareness, which will put your awareness inward then. We begin taking the consciousness to be very focused, single-pointed focus on aspects of the body. So what that can look like is we can say focus on the right hand and go by individual fingers, the thumb, finger, first finger, naming all of the fingers, naming the wrist. Um, you may use a shortened version of this in your hypnosis practice as, oh, it's escaping my mind right now. Progressive relaxation. Yes, you may do a progressive relaxation that goes maybe from head to toe. Maybe you like to start from toe to top, whatever way that you like to do that. But it's important to be slow. And the point you're making is to help the person in the chair to be very focused on that particular area of their body. And that long, slow progression of the entire body really becomes deeply relaxing. And I know my experience of that is, bones into the floor. There is not there really hasn't been anything except for this practice that makes me that relaxed on the floor where I don't care if I ever move again. And it was just amazing to me how not only was my body relaxed, my body doesn't relax well, so that was a surprise to me, but that my mind also followed suit. And it does open up the space for the subconscious to start sending um, all kinds of images. You really start to contact that inner wisdom that we all carry in that state. Um, I have just found it to be the best thing since sliced bread on a night when I can't sleep very well. So I always start with my feet when I can't sleep because for myself, my mind is the last thing that wants to do the shutdown. So that's basically been my practice. I do use it with clients, especially those that are have a harder time getting into the zone for a hypnosis session. If they need a longer induction, I'm probably going to do a really long, slow Yoga Nidra style uh, body scan, right? So I know I've got some gaps in my Yoga Nidra, so I'm going to ask Catherine and Susie to talk about their experiences with the Yoga Nidra. They have extensive knowledge about this more than I do. So please, ladies.
Sure. You want to start or shall I?
Go
Susie?
ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I learned this years ago from Ormond McGill, who was just an amazing human being. And I've done a lot of research about it, and I teach it in my classes. I use the parts of the process and sometimes the whole process with clients. What I learned was the purpose of each phase of the practice. There is a purpose to each phase. From neurophysiology, we know that each part of the body has a different control center in the brain. So small ones, such as fingers or armpits, oddly enough, claim a large brain area. As we're moving through this process, the movement of awareness through different parts of the body not only relaxes them, here's my favorite part, but also clears nerve pathways to the brain. I want that. Doesn't that sound helpful for hypnotherapy? And then when you're doing the body scan portion that I do as an induction is really good for weight clients because especially the really obese clients that I've seen who are a couple 100 pounds overweight, they've lost touch with their body. They don't live in their body. So that body scan portion as an induction brings them into their body and they experience that finger and the thumb and the individual. And it's extremely helpful for them to come back home because we are physical beings. So I find it extremely helpful for that. But the full Yoga Nidra process, where we're doing some visualization, and for example, the alternating opposite sensations such as heat and cold, heaviness and lightness, helps to improve the body's ability to regain balance and brings related involuntary functions under conscious control. Well, that's all good news, isn't it? Visualization is a method of consciously using a symbol or image as a catalyst to provoke a reaction in the subconscious mind. And since no time is given for the conscious mind to react, you remain detached and your ego becomes temporarily inactive. So this phase helps to resolve suppressed conflicts, desires, memories, and sanskaras, which are the deep impressions that are the driving force behind karma. So in Yoga Nidra, I'll say one more thing, and then Susie, I'll let you have a chance. In Yoga Nidra, you leave the waking state of consciousness, go to the deep state, sleep state of consciousness, yet paradoxically remain fully awake. It's an extremely relaxing state in which the impressions of attachment and aversion, the driving force behind karma, are weakened.
Damn.
It's my favorite. It is my favorite thing to do. Susie, what do you want to add to that?
Well, I've taken a different slant. It was decades ago when I experienced Yoga Nidra, and I have and I don't even know how true I am to it now in terms of the technique that I created. And don't even remember how many points there are that the process of Yoga Nidra focuses on in the body. But I have taught it to my clients, especially those that are out of their body, empaths for sure, who spend very little time in their body. And then those who are my left brainers that go, 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 and are constantly in high level stress. And so in my office, and when they come into my office, if they're at high level or traffic was bad or, work stress is through the roof, to help bring them back is I take them through it first. I have them close their eyes and I take them through it. And I incorporate the seven chakras in addition to the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, and the tips of each finger. So we kind of I take them through it and I explain to them their only job is to follow along and direct their attention to the specific body point that I'm directing, that I speak at that moment. And I tell them some clients feel as if there's a light that shines on it. Some people find as if it feels sparkly. And some people just remember that that's part of their body. So the bottom line is it brings them back into their body. And I guide them through it. And there's 65 points that I take them through. And we go all through the points. And then we come back and wind back up at the top of the head. And then I ask them, and this is especially remarkable for those clients who have never experienced hypnosis, never experienced it before. The trance state, I ask them when they come back around, and they've taken that nice deep breath in, and when you're ready, go ahead and open up your eyes, return to the energy of the room. They come back around, and you can just watch their body just melt as I'm guiding them through the whole process. And they take a breath and they go, "Ah, how much time do you think passed? What's your concept of how long that whole process took, right?" And they'll say, "Oh man, that was about 20. No, it's about 20 minutes." And I said, I look over at my clock because it's on the other side of the room in my office. I said, "That was 7." So already I'm predisposing them to a convincer that they've already been in the trance state. They've had that time distortion. I've shifted them from sympathetic nervous state to the parasympathetic nervous system. They've been breathing differently, right? They're relaxed. They've gone into the trance state. They've returned to their body. And then we can go ahead and that's one of their home play assignments. And I have a handout that I give to them. And I say, you said, just read it and just think, you're just making like a star in your body, top of your head, the the third eye chakra, the base of your throat, right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist. Of course, I go a lot slower. Tip of your right thumb, tip of your right pointer finger, tip of your right long finger. And then we come back up and then back to the throat and then the other side. So we just go through all the different points and so that they can do it because I'm all about empowering them because I tell them nothing personal, but I want you to bounce in my office, get what you need, and then bounce out. And I hope to never see you again, right? I want them empowered. And like I've said in a different podcast, I want both oars in the water so that they're rowing their own boat. So I do it for them so they have the embodied experience. And it's probably a total bastardization of Yoga Nidra, but that's what inspired me to create this technique that I did. And then I have also used it for them, and I tell them, however they experience it is perfect, designed for them by them, because they're the one that's going to guide themselves through it. Hang on, I got to turn off my heater. I'm on fire here. The other thing I do in terms of especially my busy-minded left brainers who have a difficult time turning off their brain when their head hits the pillow at night. And I give sometimes I'll give them a recording of it but then I also tell them some people like to take an inhale and an exhale between the 2 points. So top of your head would be an inhale, and then your third eye would be an exhale, and then an inhale. So really slow it down. And I tell them, if you're going to use this to help you shift into that sleep state, I want you to first give yourself permission to fall asleep without completing the entire cycle of your body. Because some of my left brainers will struggle, they'll fall asleep and they'll wake up and go, oh shit, I didn't do the whole thing, got to start over, right? Give yourself permission to fall asleep without completing the entire cycle. And if you wake up, because some of them will tell me they wake up at 3 in the morning, just lay in bed and do it again because you'll drift right back into sleep again. So I have found it to be a really malleable experience and beneficial on so many different levels. Breath, grounding, getting your body, keeps that busy mind focused because we don't stay in one spot for very long, but it's not whipping through the body. And then I also tell them they can adapt it even further if they've only got, just a couple of minutes, just to go from the top of just the 7 chakras. They may or may not know it. It depends on my client. Just to top of your head, your forehead, base of your throat, your heart space, your solar plexus, and then come back up. So just do those 7 spots down and up, and then it'll be a total reset for you, and you can go about your day. But from a place of being grounded and shifting into that parasympathetic nervous system. So I've adapted it. I've kind of picked and chosen and rolled it all together to create a technique for my clients to utilize. So that's my experience with Yoga Nidra, or how I've utilized it.
It's the beautiful thing about what we
Yep,
do.
exactly.
We learn something, we love it, we get inspiration, we change it a little bit.
Yep.
I was using some of this when I was a massage therapist. I had a couple of clients in particular who were really squirrely minded, and I would walk them through a full body relaxation with the actual tensing of the body parts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
squeeze your foot and release it, Um, I had that experience when I was in some of the yoga nidras when I practiced earlier in my life. We would do the contract the muscles and the big muscle groups as part of that relaxation. So, I've had a couple clients in my chair that I've had them squeeze their feet and let go, and done a couple little muscle things, scrunch up those shoulders and drop them. So it's been very versatile.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that I've done a full, like I said, I'm not a yoga teacher. I haven't done a full official yoga nidra, but I sure have experienced them and I love them.
The other thing that I've done with the body scan portion, I take them just through the right side of their body, and then I ask them to compare the right side with the left side, see what's different, and then I go on with the session. At the end, the first thing I ask them when they come out is, how did the right side of your body feel compared to the left? And it always feels different. And I say, and that's a distorted sense of awareness. That's hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ask about the time. How long do you think that took? That's time distortion. Now I've got them. This is the first session. Yeah. And if I do that convincer, it's not like the eyelid convincer where, by gosh, they're going to get those eyelids open. Some of them, they're going to prove to me that my thing doesn't work. And they'll struggle and they'll get them open. And there's nothing to push back against when you're just having them pay attention to one side of the body. Nothing.
Love it.
Wonderful.
I like that. So next time I wake up at 3 a.m., now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I like
buddy.
this. This is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was very adaptable to what we do. So, and I bet you we'll have some yoga practitioners in our association that will
Sure.
know a lot about this topic. And
Well, one of
We'll
my
bring them
former
in.
students, one of my graduates, I'm sure will be with us shortly. She teaches Yoga Nidra. She's the one that pointed out to me when I taught it at a conference a couple of years ago. She said, there's a difference. There's the body scan portion, then there's the full process of Yoga Nidra. And she makes a good point. So I'm interested. I'll have to talk to her at some point about how she teaches Yoga Nidra, because maybe there's more that I'm not aware of that I could include when I teach it.
Fabulous.
Maybe she'll want to teach it here.
Maybe.
That would be nice.
I can ask her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I was
Yeah.
poking around looking for some more information about Yoga Nidra, and there are many variations specifically for particular issues. Like there's one called iRest Yoga Nidra, which
Mhm.
has an integrative restoration. There's therapeutic and clinical, trauma sensitive,
Mm.
Kundalini.
Mm. Oh,
Um,
Kundalini.
mhm. There's one that's guided visualization dominant. There's a short form. You can use it with sound healing.
Mm.
So this is very versatile,
I
very
like that.
versatile. Yes,
Love
we
that.
do. We do. And we really like situations like this where we have an experience and we adapt it in our hypnosis
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
That's exciting.
Always.
Well, thanks everybody for your inspiration and your conversation and your shares. We appreciate that so much. And hopefully this will inspire some people to do some more of that slow kind of body mindfulness work.
Yeah. Thanks,
Absolutely. Thank you,
Melissa.
Melissa.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.